Hi, and welcome to a brand new Riders Lounge podcast. I'm your host for the show, Steve Sommerfeld, and this episode is all about Night of the Jumps returning to Munich. Yeah, Munich, Germany for 2024. This is the first competition for the series of this year. At the moment, I think there's 6 events just in the German-speaking countries, which is, what have we got? Munich, Bremen, Cologne, Hanover, Berlin, and also one in Switzerland. We're going to Zurich, and that's just for those countries. There should be a few more international events this year, finally, but more information on those coming very, very soon. So today I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on who is riding this event, why I'm excited, and then I guess I'll have the results up after this event. So this is just a little bit of a pre-podcast just to get you a little bit excited. And there's a few riders I think you will get keen about. I'm just going to go straight into it. Actually, no, before I do, a quick shout out to the sponsor behind me, Rothaus, with the Tannenzaepfle alcohol-free beer. Right, we've got that out of the way. That's all you need to know. Go buy it, drink it. It's awesome. And it makes it look like you're drinking beer when you're not, if you just want to have those nights where you want to drive home. Right, so who is riding in Munich? Actually, should I get onto that first? Yeah, you know what? Let's get into that, and then I'll discuss a few more things. So, as the reigning World Tour champion coming back, Luc Ackermann. So he's now won 2 Night of the Jump seasons in a row. There was the 2019 championship that he won. Then, of course, we had the big old break with our awesome friend COVID-19. And then last year, Luc also became the champion again. So Luc's sitting on 2 in a row. He'll be looking for his 3rd world championship in a row. But there's somebody who has got more than anybody else, and he'll be looking to come back bigger, faster, stronger, better. And that is Maikel Melero. Now, Melero is one of those riders, I feel like, who doesn't get enough credit for what he did. He won 5 world championships in a row. Like, nobody else has even won 5. And he did it year after year after year with guys like Luc Ackermann chasing him all the way along, biting at his ankles. So actually talking to Melero, he said he's feeling way better. He's riding with a bunch of younger guys now. He feels like he's 10 years younger himself. Let's see what he can bring. Luc Ackermann as well. He's riding awesome. We saw last year going to X Games, hitting that next gen, doing a front flip. He's got the 360 in his bag. There's so many other big tricks that Luc has, but we'll talk about that later. Marc Pinyol is returning, and he's on, I think, for the whole season, if not most of the season. So that will be awesome to see Pinyol. He was one of those younger riders a fair few years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago. He would push so hard, trying to learn new things and going for innovation. He has his own body variable that nobody has ever done since him. It's called the inside roll. He's got a bunch of other body variables. He's got a bunch of other tricks that he loves to try and do. So I can't wait to see Pinyol coming. Matej Cesak from the Czech Republic, who started out as one of our kind of reserve riders, but now he's on the full-time roster. Cesak, he's there every time. And I think last year he would have won every best whip competition except for that one where his bike exploded when he was running the KTM 300 2-stroke. And now he's decided to go back to the 250, which probably was a smart move. Filip Podmol, the younger of the Podmol brothers. His older brother, Libor, of course, was a world champion, I think, in 2010. And Filip is just as crazy, just as gnarly as Libor. So it'll be awesome to see him back. Pepa Aron. So we've got 3 riders from the Czech Republic. So Pepa Aron, he was also one of the reserve riders last year, actually. And he rode really well, quite safe, until we had that one little incident in Mannheim last year. You might remember where, if you saw the video, he thought he was in second, but he was in first. And unfortunately, first gear did not get him the 70-foot required to make it over, and he only just made it to that big airbag. Bike bounced back, smashed to pieces on the ground, and he was lucky just to stay on top. That was such a close one. Davide Rossi from Italy, he is returning for 2024. We haven't seen Davide Rossi for a few years, actually, and he's one of my favorite riders, not just because he's an awesome rider, but he's one of the nicest guys in the sport. Davide Rossi, yeah, I've got a soft spot for him, and he also makes awesome pasta, and they've got great wine in his region. I can tell you that from personal experience. Now, 2 riders that we have never seen at Night of the Jumps will be coming. I'll start with the new European rider, because I feel like there's a lot of people saying there's nobody new coming. Well, I've already spoken about Pepa Aron. He was one of our younger guys as a reserve last year. He ended up, I think he competed in one event where he did have that problem with first gear. But overall, I've been really impressed with him, and he's got a really good attitude as well. So there's Pepa already. Mikolej Tempka. And if you don't know who that is, you'll probably find him on Instagram under the name Zapsa FMX. And he has been building his own jumps, all the big stuff like Moon Booters, and I think he's building a next gen. He's got the super kicker. Obviously, he's got the other ramps as well. But he is trying to learn all the big tricks. And I have been watching him for a few years. A lot of it's in the foam pit, of course. But you can't learn big stuff without a foam pit or an airbag. Simple as that. And he's been working on the 720. Well, I don't think he's going to be doing that in Munich this weekend. But he's one of those riders where I feel like he's going for it. He wants to try new stuff, and that's the type of rider I'd love to see coming through. One of these new guys. So one of the new young guns looking to try new things in the future, where we're not going to put too much pressure on him. I want him to feel comfortable, get used to the setup, and then let's see what happens in the future. But the big name, who's actually kind of fresh, but he's not really, from America, it is Colby Gort. And I actually got alerted to him from Ash Will, actually, from Aussie Adrenaline. Yeah, Aussie Adrenaline. And he told me about Colby a few years ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago. He was doing some shows in China. I think it was with Freestyle Kings. And he's like, man, you got to keep your eye on this kid. He is going for it. And I have kept my eye on him. And then I guess I saw a few extra videos, but he's done well at X-Pilots. Ended up on the podium over there in, I think it was Mexico. And he's kind of not the new Adam Jones. I mean, you can't say there's a new Adam Jones because there's still an old Adam Jones who's freaking awesome. But Colby is going for those kind of Adam Jones style tricks. As I said, he is kind of a new name on the scene, especially going into the international realm. But I think he's somebody that we should all keep an eye on. And I'm so pumped that he will be making his way over for his first Night of the Jumps in Munich. So there are a few new names, but there's a reason why. And I love the idea of having the old guys like Maikel Melero coming back as an absolute legend, Luc Ackermann being the beast that he is. Then we've got all of the other riders that I mentioned in the middle who are innovative, great style, and now we've got a few young guns to mix it all up. And that was basically what we've been looking for, working towards, and hoping would happen over the last few years. And I think it has happened. We've got a new rider as well as a reserve rider this time. Nico Perrier will be the reserve. So he'll come to the training. Actually, we did have him in Zurich last year, and he impressed everybody. Super smooth, nice, lands everything, nice and safe. That's what we like to see with new guys coming through. So that's the freestyle motocross rider list. In the mountain bike, BMX, scooter, we've got Leon Binckebanck from Berlin. We've got Maik Bohm from Berlin. Actually, I want to say about Leon Binckebanck. Here's a dude who's not scared to try something new. He's already been trying dirt bikes out a little bit. If you've watched Night of the Jumps before, he's the guy on the BMX who throws the biggest front flips going. Like, I love his front flip style. If he could do that front flip on a dirt bike, oh my God, it would be awesome. So keep your eye out for him. Maik Bohm, the old man from Berlin, he's coming. Alejandro Bonafe from Spain will be there, one of the big names in mountain bikes. Lucas Huppert, also from Switzerland, another big name who'll be there. Josef Forissier, Maty Pekarek. Actually, now Maty is the scooter rider who I only met for the first time last year when he came, and it was in Munich, actually. I think that was his debut at Night of the Jumps, and I was sitting there commentating on the floor with the crowd basically in front of me, so the action's going on behind me, the crowd's in front, the camera's in front, just like this, and the noise that I heard from the crowd when Maty Pekarek rolled in for the very first time on his scooter, I didn't know he was going. The crowd went ballistic. I turned around. I'm like, what just happened? Who just jumped? I waited. He went to the top of the roll-in. He went again, and it was the same reaction. The crowd went ballistic. So that's why Maty Pekarek is back again this year. The crowd absolutely loved it in every single round we went to. So I guess I've had to change my opinion on Scooter Kids because he was awesome. Jimi Brandt will be back there again, so he's another young German rider. And Dan Miller will be coming for the very first time at Night of the Jumps. And I've spoken with Dan for probably a year or two, but he'll actually be bringing the new mountain bike roll-in, the whole setup, the ramps, and step up, which will be the first time we've had it in Night of the Jumps as well. But the one thing that I really was impressed with Dan was just his passion for mountain bikes and building a good setup and what it takes to make the sport better. And I met him for the first time actually at Luc Ackermann's event last year. And we must have chewed the fat for about 2 hours in the catering, just talking about different ramps and building and what angles go into it and what's the best, blah, blah, blah. So I'm really interested to see Dan arrive here at Munich. And last but not least, Rabea Zahner, who rode for the first time last year at Night of the Jumps on the roll-in. She'll be back as well, joining the guys. And we also have the Psycho Dolls, who will be whipping up a storm with all the fire and pyrotechnics. I am just starting to understand a little bit more about what Kinga and the Psycho Dolls actually have to deal with the pyro. Like, I've never got involved in pyro. I've seen what happens to Jack Go Strong. Like, I don't need to get blown up. I know I'm smart enough to know I'm dumb enough to do something stupid. So I stay away from it. So it's actually been impressive to see what Kinga and the Psycho Dolls have been up to. Yeah, so that's the rider list. The course that's coming for Munich, actually Harry Bink was planned to come. So Harry and we were talking about the next gen ramp, bringing it back because he was the first rider to launch off the next gen last year in Munich. But unfortunately he had that crash when the bike just stopped on the ramp. I don't know if you remember it. He went for a one-handed knack flip and the bike just went boom as he went for the flip. So he got stuck. His boot was caught in the foot hook. And that was the second time we'd ever used the big airbag landings. And the big airbag landing probably saved his life, or at least a lot of broken bones. It was a horrendous crash. So Harry was planned to come, but unfortunately with J.O. Archer passing away, those two guys were very close and they both were pushing the sport so much. And we had a chat and decided it was by far a better idea if Harry just chills, don't stress, come back when you feel ready, basically. And I completely agree with that. So I would love to see him there, but I think it was by far the smartest decision he could make. So that's the tough news for Munich. But yeah, no, we'll have the kind of, well, not the regular setup, but kind of like a regular setup. We've got all the Euro ramps. We've got the 9 meter. So you got the 8 meter ramps. You got the 9 meter radius ramps. That will be interesting for Colby Gort, actually, the American rider, who's probably still over there riding on those old Rev 3 ramps. I don't know what Colby rides on a day-to-day basis, but the tight 8 meter probably will feel odd. The 9 meter probably would feel pretty normal, I'd imagine, for him. Then, of course, we've got the super kicker there, so there'll be double flips galore. Let's see what happens. Of course, the front flip, the cheetah ramp. The front flip ramp will be there as well. And then, like I said, we've got the new mountain bike roll-in setup from Dan Miller, and he's got 2 different ramps. And I would say both of them are steep, only one's way steeper, and that is for the step-up. So for the first time ever, we're going to have step-up. It'll be interesting to see how that works. Looking at the roll-in, what I saw at Luc Ackermann's event, it looked much smoother than what we've had in the past. So I'm going to guess those guys will get a little bit more height than we've ever seen at night of jumps. So that'll be interesting. The competition itself, basically how it was the last couple of years, each rider has 1 run, so there will be some teams. Each rider has 1 run. 7 jumps plus the double up, so 90 seconds to do your 7 jumps. As much variety, as much course use as possible, and then you get your double up, which is double the points. Then we'll have the best whip comp, of course, so it'll be interesting to see Matej Cesak throwing down in that one. The synchro competition, and the best trick. We also have the step up, like I said, and we'll have best trick for the mountain bike, BMX, and scooter riders as well. So there's a lot going into it. It is the first event of the year, so this will be interesting to see who's been at home training, who's been busy. I know some guys probably are coming off maybe an injury or 2 here or there, and plus it's the first event of the year. It's a long year. You want to get to the end. So will we see somebody come out of the gates to set the world on fire and say, I'm winning this championship? Or will some guys hold back just that little bit and just suss out the rest of the competition and then come to round 2 in Bremen and maybe then stomp something new? I really don't know. Like I said, there's a bunch of new guys. Normally the new guys will want to throw down. But let's see. Maybe there's some maybe there's some tactics that could go into this competition. The whole show, well, it's completely sold out. Munich was sold out a week or 2 ago, which is fantastic. Great news for the future, which is the best part about all of this for freestyle motocross. Number 1, knowing that Munich was sold out is awesome. 2, we will be going live on YouTube like we always did, and this year we'll be on Twitch. So we will have the live chat. I will be commentating the show as per normal, starting at 7 o'clock on Saturday night. Saturday is what? The 13th of April, 7 p.m. German time, local time in Munich. So check your calendar, check your time zones, see when it works out for you to watch it. It will be live. I imagine it'll be up still anyway as live after the event. But if you want to jump in on the chat, I would love it. We did that last year for the first time. It worked out really well. We had some awesome times talking with guys like Matto joined in. I think we had Pat Bowden there. Fred Carrillos was in. We had Clint Esposito. Of course, John Matthews, the oracle of knowledge on all things freestyle motocross. We had a lot of freestyle riders and a lot of fans joining in on the chat. And we would love to do that. And we're going to go a little bit more in depth. We're going to have a little bit more behind the scenes footage. We'll have our new kind of behind the scenes host, Paulina. She'll be joining me. So if anything happens throughout the night, she'll be running around with a camera, grab an interview while I'm still hosting it. We'll chuck it on. So there's going to be so much more info coming out of this event. I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about all I can talk about right now. Well, actually, no. What am I really looking forward to? Seeing how the new guys go, but probably I'm a little bit excited to see Colby Gort's new backflip trick. Backflip, no-handed, knack. Suicide knack flip. Like, even to do that trick upright, a knack, no-handed, I think I've only ever seen somebody do it like Jared McNeil upright. And I'm pretty sure Colby just landed that this week as the first person ever. So that's one new trick. I mean, it's not a 720 double front flip, whatever. It's nothing that's like absolutely ridiculous off the craziest ramp. But what is cool is to see new things still happening with backflip combos and working out new ways of getting your body and the balance of the bike. Yeah, for me, I just want to see that no-handed knack backflip. That'll be sick. All right, guys. Thank you much. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll have some results for you at the end of this competition after Saturday. If I'm really lucky, I might even be able to get the audio and put the audio up as a podcast as well of the entire show. Let me know what you guys think. Would that be a good idea? Would you want to hear that if you don't actually get to see the show, but you're driving, you're working, you're going for a run, you're riding your mountain bike, whatever? Would you be happy, or would you like to hear the actual live show as a podcast? Because I can do it if I have to. I'll work it out. Let me know what you think. If you've got any questions, email me at steve@invertmanagement.com. Otherwise, find me on Instagram, find me on TikTok, YouTube, all those funny places. Catch you later.